So apparently in Season 2, Baylan is about to confront the Abeloth, the greatest creature Star Wars Legends holds, and is about to become canon. And I commend Dave Filoni for this, for having the guts to hint that Abeloth could become canon, because we already saw him do a similar thing with the Bendu. But I'm here to talk about Luke Skywalker and how he handled Abeloth in Legends. We have a lot to learn from Legends because these characters, most of them, come from Legends material. And we know that Dave Filoni is a big fan of what Star Wars missed out with creating canon and leaving the expanded universe, the Legends material, behind. He wants to bring all of it back, but slowly. So we clearly see that Abeloth was in his mind this entire time. Well, believe it or not, in the old Legends stories, there is a way as to Luke Skywalker devising a plan to confront and maybe even kill Abeloth. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. What can we expect from the canonized Abeloth, and how will the galaxy confront her? There are two great powerful entities in the galaxy as we know it. First of all, it's the Bendu. It is such an influential entity that it's said it's an absolute balance within the Force. He has a dominance over the Force and his distinct method to harness it. It is very different from any Jedi or Sith that you can encounter. Even Thrawn tried to reason with this creature and it couldn't. It outsmarted Thrawn in a second and made him look like a fool. It disappeared before him, so much so that Thrawn was intrigued. I believe this is the moment where Thrawn starts to take the Force very seriously. So talking about Abeloth, what could defeat it, we have a couple of questions that we need answering. First of all, I want to take your mind at ease and talk about the question of, could the Bendu actually defeat Abeloth? So with that in mind, Abeloth of course carved her reputation in Legends after she emerged again to threaten the galaxy, only to be thwarted by a peak powerful Luke Skywalker. I believe that if we compare the canon Luke right now and the Legends Luke at this time around the New Republic era, Legends Luke was a bit more powerful, I think, but this Luke is not a slouch either. So in those Legend stories, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker was also supported by a united force of Sith and also Darth Krayt. In the tale, Abeloth is pushed back by Luke but remains unscathed. We've talked multiple times about Abeloth's strength in multiple videos, but more recently it has come up because of Baylan's actions. Now we need to talk about a new question also. After her setback, Abeloth isn't eliminated but merely retreats into a deep rest. Her mastery over the Force outshines almost all entities, placing her as one of the most formidable figures in the Star Wars history, so surpassing any Jedi or Sith before and after. How could you ask Luke to deal with such a great creature? Now, because the Bendu is a Force manifestation sorta, the Bendu could not eliminate Abeloth. And the problem with all of this is even so that Abeloth is not a mortal. She is, in fact, an immortal being. This is what Luke in Legends came to find out really quickly, and this was the biggest problem, similar to the Mortis gods. So the question is, what endows Abeloth with such vast power, and why is she only held back by her incarceration, by her imprisonment, as we see perhaps in canon on Peridea? You see, I think only by connecting the past, the present, and the future, meaning the Legends and the canon material, can we get to a very interesting answer, something that might help us along the way of what can we expect in Season 2 of Ahsoka. You see, the foundation of Abeloth's might is intertwined with her origins, believe it or not. We've talked a lot previously about Abeloth's origins, how she came to be who she was, but in order to encapsulate everything, essentially what you need to know is that she was talked about in Keelik folklore. Abeloth was initially referred to as the Servant, with her genuine name becoming a sort of a mastery. The servant unexpectedly found herself on the primordial verdant planet of the Ones of Mortis. Once the gods came into the Mortis realm and everything fit into place, the servant was the one who was integrated with them. So she essentially adopted the role of the mother. She orchestrated the son and the daughter harmoniously. She worked with them. She was the one who was able to bring them together, something that the father could not do, as a matter of fact. So this was one of her greatest strengths. However, this tranquility, of course, was short-lived as the servant's human nature became readily apparent and we saw her age. So she yearned for perpetual companionship with her newfound family, with the Ones. So she approached the font of power and the pool of knowledge, potent force nexuses of shadow and illumination, both of the each side. In her thinking, she thought that by combining the two, she would become one in the middle and try to be like the father, try to be the balancer and keep her son and her daughter in check. Unfortunately, as you may know, her endeavors led to a metamorphosis into a monstrous figure. She was ensnared between the light and the shadow. She evolved into becoming a cosmic, terrifying being. After being abandoned, she transformed into Abeloth. The Ones, with the Killik's assistance, erected the Center Point Station, encasing their ancestral realm within the Maw, a constellation of black voids, in order to restrain her. Yet Abeloth would sporadically break free from time to time, disseminating chaos only to be subdued by the Ones again. This cycle persisted until the Ones died during the Clone Wars era, as we saw. So Abeloth's subsequent breakout during Luke Skywalker's time saw her repelled but not completely killed. Luke hypothesized about her eventual resurgence. He knew that at one point in time, since this cycle keep repeating, one day or another, the Abeloth creature would be freed again and would come for them. And so when Luke devised the plan, he went out to seek for the Mortis dagger as a potential killing apparatus, finally ending the Abeloth nightmare. This, of course, makes perfect sense because the Mortis dagger actually killed the daughter. You see, the son, once obtaining this dagger, tried to kill the father, but the daughter intervened and was killed instead. This means that the dagger can indeed kill immortals such as the Mortis gods. Luke practically knew that the Mortis dagger would do the same for Abeloth, because Abeloth's unparalleled prowess stems from her dual exposure to both nexuses. So she has unmatched wisdom and also unmatched might. Her vast array of capabilities combined with her insight rendered her nearly undefeatable and immortal to boot. Only the essence of Force Light, which demands purity, eluded her. This was the biggest problem. So Abeloth's healing prowess surpassed even Luke's abilities, which in Legends is legendary, and her resilience hinted at her potential eternity, of course, being immortal. So this means that the only tool to be used against her is the Mortis dagger, which as of right now, both in canon and back then in Legends, the whereabouts were unknown. Luke essentially tells us from Legends lore and material that Dave Filoni is readily inspired by that he will eventually use the Mortis dagger at some point. This gives us a hint was also given in the finale, because the Great Mothers of Dathomir were able to retrieve the Blade of Talzin by using dark magic and gave it to Morgan Elsbeth. When Thrawn destroyed the Witch Tower, the Night Sisters were taken aback and looked at him with a bit of discontent. Could there be a schism? Will the relationship break down in Season 2 and the Night Sisters might help Luke Skywalker in obtaining the Mortis dagger? I think that would be just amazing and beautiful to see, but sadly Season 2 is far off, so I would love to know. Until then, let's speculate and see, what do you think about the Mortis dagger killing Abeloth? Talk to me down below.